Shalom, everybody. Welcome back to Religion Wing TV in this edition of How Far Will You Go on YouTube? That is to be successful or whatever it is your goals are on YouTube. So I'm going to go back and run through the questions. I'm going to ask you. Believe you me, I answered these questions for myself, and I have so many more in my head and in my spirit that I want to ask you guys. But StreamYards, banner section only allow you to put 25 banners. So within 3 minutes, I went through 25 banners, and now we're going to go back through them. So if you're just new here and your first time visiting, please, by all means, subscribe to my channel. It used to be 1,000. Now it's going to be 4,000. It doesn't matter. We see people rise and we see people fall. And we also see people with a slow grind and a steady pace, because the race is not for the swift, but for those who can endure to the end, right? But this isn't about church right now. This isn't about the Bible, although a lot of information in the Bible will help you determine and judge and help you answer some of these questions we're about to go through. How far will you go on YouTube to be successful? Is there anything that you wouldn't do to keep your name from being hot in these YouTube streets? So let's go back to the beginning. Let me start over. First of all, my name is Drew. During the morning read, I'm spirituality. I'm spirituality all the time because my spiritual ears stay ringing, guys. Like, to help people. Like, before I go out and set out to help other people, you better believe I'm trying to help myself first. But just because you struggle in areas of your life does not mean you cannot help someone else. Let's just debunk that myth right there. There's a lot of people who probably deal with mental health that can still give me sound advice, even though I myself don't deal with mental health. There's people who probably never went to prison but have advice, you know what I'm saying, for myself, who have gone to prison. And the church will tell you, sweep around your own front door, clean your own house pretty much before you go out in the world and try to help other people, when the church is the most dirtiest facility in the world, people. So I'm going to go ahead back up to the top and say shalom and welcome to Religion Wing TV. Guys, today we are going to talk about limitations on YouTube and how far you will go to be successful. And even then, some people sleep their way to the top. and never make it in the music industry. So this is kind of like what that is. How far will you go on YouTube to be successful, or the lack thereof? Because some success is degrading, and how people get there is the most wickedest things, on the face of the earth. And that's why the Bible says, do not covet your neighbor's land, house, husband, wife, car, cattle, sheep, money, job, business, because you don't know how that person got to where they are. So let's go ahead and get started with the first question. Will you pretend to be more or less than you really are for other creators, for other people on YouTube? Whether it is to make yourself seem more abound, like you bout it, all that in a bag of chips, or whether you humble yourself so lowly. You could be about it in your real life, but you get on YouTube and just be a commoner, just be a regular person. Because some people won't accept you doing well in your personal life. And other people won't accept you struggling in your personal life, or being, not being, having whatever other people have. So will you pretend to be someone other than yourself to be on these YouTube streets? Now let's get right into, will you give out your phone number to total strangers? Now, social media is different. I understand for business and things of that nature, but just to be like on some hookup, to talk to people sexually on the phone, just to, see how many numbers you can get across social media. Are you willing to give your number to a total stranger? Knowing how conservative and reserved you are in your personal life, will you get on here just to have a big following, just to get all the tea, just to say, hey, I got so-and-so's phone number, give out your number to a total stranger? All right, so I think we can go on and move on to the next question. Will you date on YouTube, fall in love, get engaged, and or married? And if so, will you do it in a week's time, in 3 months' time, in a year's time, 2 years' time? Will you get on YouTube to find love, to find a date, to find companion, to, find someone crazy enough to engage you? Now, social media, let me say something. People find a lot of relationships on social media. Absolutely. Good things can happen off of social media. But I'm talking more on a personal level. Will you be the one to get on YouTube and date, just so you could say you rolling with the highest YouTuber, or the hottest, channel or whatever? Will you fall in love? Will you get engaged? Will you get married? Probably only to be dumped somewhere down the line because it's not real, genuine care, concern, compassion, and love. So will you date on YouTube? Will you fall in love? Will you get engaged and or get married? I'm being a little petty and simple here, but would you kiss someone on YouTube? No, I know that's hard to do, but ever given a chance and in the presence of someone else from YouTube and having some kind of feelings or affections for that person, will you go as far as to kiss someone and get intimate with someone on these YouTube streets? All right, let me see. Let's go right on to, will you invite people from YouTube to your house? For whatever reasons, are you that trusting of people on social media, especially in certain sectors of the world and social media? Will you invite these people to your house? Now, we've seen it on YouTube where so many people have hooked up and did collaborations in person. But were you one of the people who actually brought someone to your house? Was it safe? How was the experience? How did your families receive it? And let us know what you think about bringing someone to your home from YouTube. Remember, guys, this is all Q&A right here. So you have the option of watching the replay, guys, and letting me know what you think down below in the comments. So we're going to go right on into, will you introduce your children to other YouTubers or content creators or viewers and subscribers on YouTube? Now, this is kind of touchy for me. My children are grown, so thank God for that. They can meet who they want to meet and have indeed met people on social media, probably hooked up, especially at Facebook. I mean, people are using Facebook to do all kinds of things. And I'm noticing that over here on YouTube as well. So, will you bring other content creators and strangers around your family, around your children, around people that you hold dear to your heart? All right, so let's go on to the next question. Will you ever take advantage of someone on YouTube, lie to them, deceive them, betray them, manipulate them? So with that being said, will you ever take advantage of someone on these YouTube streets just to get ahead, just to have more views than them, just to have more clout than them, just to be one up on them? So we're going to go right into the next question, guys. Will you make friends with someone to make your friend, your enemy, or their enemy mad? Will you team up with the enemy of an enemy just to try and take down the enemy or make that enemy mad? Hmm. These are valuable, valuable questions, you all. So we're not going to tarry here much longer because we know that there's a lot of people on these YouTube streets who have made friends with their enemies just to take down common enemies, right? So also, guys, let's go ahead and say, will you expose your body for clicks and views? Will you get in bed with someone? Will you consider having a baby with someone on YouTube? Some people fall in love fast. Some people don't have to be in love. Some people are just out here for a hustle. They'll use sex. They'll use their body. They'll use, the art of whatever just to get that dollar sign. So will people go to the extremes to meet people for clicks and views on YouTube, exposing their bodies, getting in bed with people, and possibly having babies? The one person watching, will you expose yourself on YouTube for clicks and views? Will you get in bed with somebody you barely know or never met? And will you consider having babies with these peoples? On the replay, I have some very valuable questions that you can kind of go through, scroll through, and see how far you will go on YouTube to be the baddest, whatever it is they call themselves on these YouTube streets. And like, I want to ask people, will you throw away your morality, your integrity? But it was only 25 spaces for me to put these banners. So I'm just going to continue with the questions I have. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. Ask people. People will come and watch this video eventually. Excuse me. And they will see what you have left, what your intake on is on some of the questions that I'm asking you. So, will you pretend to be gay, straight, bi, trans, etc., just to be accepted in certain communities on YouTube? People have done this in the world. There's nothing new under the sun. But are you one of the people that will actually go to the lengths or to the extremes? It's kind of like people go along to get along just to belong. And if this whole channel is gay, or if this whole channel is lesbian, or if this whole channel is trans, I mean, just to be on that live chat or just to be on the platform, people are out here pretty much saying they're gay, they're straight, they're lesbian, they're bi, they're all this stuff for clicks and views and whatever. Are you one of the people who will do this just to be accepted by your viewers and your supporters? Because it's something with the LGBTQ community. They get a little bit more support within the Black community than Black people themselves. I mean, they could be Black LGBTQ, but it seems like they get more respect, more honor, more people come out to fight for them. to support them than just a regular black person. And we're all black people. So that always marveled me. But are you the kind of person that will pretend to be another sexual identity or gender just to fit in, just to be accepted? Now, I have reference to Wiley when he went to DC Gate. And Wiley, this isn't picking on you, but this is what I want people to understand. Rico wanted something from you, but you weren't comfortable with that. And you're not per se the bottom, you're the top. But all along going up to DC Gate, you pretended to be bottom, top, and everything else, just to have the clicks and the views and the excitement. And then when you got there, it was a different story. So we see things like this on YouTube. And like I said, I got most of my questions from looking out into YouTube, seeing how people are really rolling on these streets. And it brings me to the question, is there anything that you wouldn't do on these YouTube streets to have your name popping, to be the it person or the it girl, the it man, or whatever it is? So let's carry on. Will you exploit your children for payola? It's been seen before, but would you be one of the people to exploit your children any way, shape, or form for $1, for a click, for a view, for some money? And if they take the money away, would you still be willing to tell the things about your children that you're telling that's bringing in the money today? I don't know. If you take the money away, some people would be ashamed of what they're on here telling people on YouTube. But as long as it come with money, because see, y'all been taught that money answers all things. When you have generational curses, just give them some cash app. Just give them some money. Oh my God, that happened to them. Drop the cash app. So again, the Bible says money answereth all things. But has money really answered the childhood abuse, the anger, the pain, the family division, the molestation and sexual perversion that goes on with our children within the church and some of the black families and homes, well, white families as well? That sexual perversion against kids, that children, that's a spirit that goes across all races, all dominions of faith and beliefs and religions. But are you the person to exploit children for payola? Will you tell a lie to gain following? Will you make up stories about yourselves? Will you, put rumors out there as false narratives just to get people to latch on? Will you consider lies? Will you consider lies entertainment just to draw people into your channels and your platforms and into your lives? Will you use your sickness for sympathy, or that of your families, your children's, or anybody else on these YouTube streets? There were instances and talks of people saying they have cancer, they have bipolar, they have, all kinds of diseases and autoimmune diseases and things of that nature. And again, if you take the money away, would they be on here talking about their sickness? Or are they on here using their sickness for sympathy? And to the one person watching, will you use your sickness for sympathy just to get clout, just to get payola, just to get clicks and views? So when you use a disabled child to gain donations, will you use a disabled child to gain donations? Will you use a disabled child? And a lot of people have disability in their families, in their children's, themselves as well. Will you use their story or perpetuate it or sensationalize it or hype it up for people to feel sorry for you to gain donations? There's a lot of people on YouTube doing it, and it's just a question the Lord would have me ask us all. Will you insinuate pedophilia tendencies on children for content? There's a lot of people out here sexually abusing the children. And for some reason on YouTube, if you violate the children more so than ever with sexual um, denotations and comments, people glamorize that stuff on this YouTube. It baffles me, people. How many people support content creators that say they will hurt the children verbally on these YouTube streets? Are you one of those people that will get on here and actually harm children just to be successful on YouTube? Let's go right into the next question. Will you expose your spouse's sexual preference or desires without consent? There's a lot of people on YouTube putting out their sexual partner's business unbeknownst to the partner, first of all. And then if it is beknownst to them, it's by force and manipulation, and it's always like someone holding something over the other person's head, right? So, will you out your sexual preference of your spouse without consent in order to have content to talk about? There's a lot of things going on these YouTube streets, you all. It's crazy to me, though. Will you buy subscribers to have a big following? Now, this can go two ways. I guess there's a site that people go to and can buy following. And then on the other side, people have been known to offer giveaways and money and all kind of contests on their channel. Is that like buying subscribers? I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are down below about that, you all. All right. So, will you sell a friend out to grow popular? Will you sell your friends out if there's any friendships on YouTube? Would you be the one to sell out your friendship just to gain more following, just to gain your name out there, just to be the one that the streets are talking about because you somehow sold out your friend, and now people look at you as being, oh, that's that man, that's that woman, that's the king or the queen of these YouTube streets. Okay, let's see. Will you ignore your children to please your supporters? There's been long lives. There's been 2-3 day lives. Where are the children at? Have people been ignoring their children to please their supporters? I mean, at some point in time, the content creator has to say, wait a minute, this is my life. But we see the life of the content creator becoming the life of the supporter. If the supporter ring, it's like the content creator is there. It's like the content creator is now feeding the needs of the supporter, and it's no longer the supporter upholding the content creator and desiring the content creator for themselves. It's like people are out here now, like I said, being driven by the desires of the supporters and the viewers instead of maintaining home and taking care of their home life. Some people will ignore their children to please their supporters. Are you this person? Will you have sex with someone from YT months after you meet them, days after you meet them, weeks after you meet them, in the same hour? We've heard stories of people pulling up to 7-Elevens and being sexual. We've heard all kinds of things on this YouTube streets. Will you have sex? Now, we're not paying attention and worrying about what anybody else do on these YouTube streets anymore. We're focusing in on what we are willing to do. Will you have sex with someone from YouTube months after you meet them, not knowing really anything about them, but just the fact that they talked you into a good sex game, they told you they was about it, and you got drawn away with it by your own lust, and voila, the sin conceived. But will you be the person to have sex with someone from YT months after you meet them? Will you break the rules to advance fast on YouTube? Will you break the rules to advance fast on YouTube? Some people advance really, 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 really fast on YouTube. But will you break the rules to get there? Or will you let it happen organically? Even if it happens fast, you know it's genuinely. You know there's no evil motives behind it. So will you break the rules to advance on YouTube, or will you stay, you know, loyal to being integral and to doing what's right, which is following the rules wherever you go? Not that all rules are meant to be followed, but again, YouTube is a platform allowing you to come on here and make some extra coins. So will you follow the rules, or will you break them just to gain access real fast? So will you regurgitate content to be relevant? Will you continually bring up old videos and old stories and old testimonies? Now, again, they help us maintain who we are and what we do, absolutely. But there comes a point in time where there has to be new content coming off the platforms. There has to be new content that's within you. You know, people can go, like, it's just like black people with Martin Luther King. Yes, he marched, yes, he taught, and we're steady going back to the late greats of this world instead of looking forward to the next greats. So will you continue to regurgitate old content, or begin to write new content, live new content, experience new life in new wineskins? Let's just put it like that, okay? So with that being said, is there anything that you wouldn't do to keep your name hot in these YouTube streets? The one thing I wouldn't do, I wouldn't deny God. And that's the one thing so many people do to keep their name relevant in these YouTube streets. They deny God, Yahweh, and the power thereof. So, guys, we are going to go ahead and kind of wrap it up for now. This has been a great video. At least I think so. I had 2 or 3 people pop in and pop out. Once again, I'm going to put the music on, and we're going to remind ourselves of the questions that were first asked when we first got on. And then you can watch this on the replay. Also, you can give me a thumbs up. Also, you can like, share, and tell a friend that there's some questions floating around as to how far they will go on these YouTube streets. Hell, in life, I mean, these questions can transcend on the job, home, wherever you go, travel. How far will you go? And again, like I said, some people in Hollywood have slept to get to the top. And they're no longer there. And I see that happening on YouTube. People are getting into bed with the enemy, trying to sleep their way through these YouTube streets, only to find themselves at the bottom of the barrel again. So with that being said, you all, you're watching Religion Wing TV. I'm your host, Spirituality, and my spiritual ears stay. Thank you so much for watching Religion Wing TV. I'm your host, Spirituality, and my spiritual ears stay. Shalom, everybody. Have a blessed day. Peace.